Hello, happy assembly. I hope you're all right. I hope you've had a lovely day. You've had a good week. Year 6, well done. You finished your SATs. That's amazing. You are absolutely brilliant. We're all dead proud of you. And we're proud of everybody else in the school just because you are all wonderful, wonderful people. Now, the assembly that we watched on Wednesday was all about positivity. And already I've just said, we're proud of you. You are wonderful, wonderful people. So that's something that can help people feel positive. And it makes me feel good sharing that with other people as well. So today's assembly isn't about things that we can do to feel positive or ways that we can look after our mental health or anything like that. It's actually a story about positivity and some information about a really, really positive event. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Eurovision Song Contest and about something else important and quite exciting that's happening along with it. So let's share my screen with you. Here we go. Right. So here we go. This is something that is happening this week in the news, the Eurovision Song Contest. So put your hand up if you know something about the Eurovision Song Contest, anything at all. Share that with your class. Okay, well done. So, do you think music has a positive impact on the world? There's a question to talk about. Does music have a positive impact on the world? Okay, so put your hands up with your ideas, talk about it in class, pause the video. I know that music has a really positive impact on me. I know that if I'm not very awake in the morning and I want to feel really cheery when I get to school, I put music on in the car and I listen. And just before I recorded this in my office, I've been listening to music, and I'm going to share that music with you in a minute. I can't get it out of my head, but I love the song. It's absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to share that song with you in a moment or two. And when I sing, it makes me feel good. And I've shared this in assembly before, but there have been scientific studies done where if you really try your hardest to sing with a massive group of people and you put all of your heart and soul into it, the feel-good chemicals in your brain increase, the endorphins in your brain. You get more and more and more of them, so you feel good. And that's been scientifically proven. Okay, that's a scientific fact that music has a positive impact on each of our brains. So it can make us feel good. And we all have favorite music that makes us feel good. So this week's story. So the first time since 1998, the United Kingdom will play host to the Eurovision Song Contest and will do so on behalf of last year's winners, Ukraine. So last year, Ukraine won the Eurovision Song Contest, but they can't host the contest this year because of the war in Ukraine. This year is the 67th edition of the competition. 37 countries have chosen to compete for this famous life-changing trophy. And this year, we're hosting it in the United Kingdom in Liverpool. And we think that more than 160 million people will be watching around the world. That's amazing, isn't it? More than 160 million people watching. Wow. That's really is a lot. So we're hosting it for the people in Ukraine, on behalf of the people in Ukraine who can't do this. So how does that make you feel when you look at our emotion chart? I think, to be honest, I'm quite happy about this. I'm quite joyful that in the UK we are stepping up and we are doing something to show that we're doing this on behalf of the people in Ukraine. It's about being global citizens and doing this for other people. And I'm quite looking forward to watching the Eurovision Song Contest because it's always really interesting, really, really entertaining. So here we've got our world map, which shows where we are and where Liverpool is in the world. And the European Broadcasting Union HQ is Geneva in Switzerland. Okay, so we've got that part of it. And we've got the information about the Eurovision Song Contest. Okay, so it's an annual singing competition organised by the European Broadcasting Union. And it started in 1956. And there's performers who are selected by each country from across Europe. And now there's over 40 countries that often participate. And the show involves several knockout rounds before the final 26 acts take to the stage on the televised finals night. And they're voted for by judges and the public from each nation. All 43 countries get a vote, even though only 26 of them perform. And since 2010, there's been a big five who get to participate in Eurovision every year, regardless of the previous year's results. And these are France, Germany, Spain, UK, and Italy. So the person representing the UK is Holly Mae Muller, who's known as Mae Muller, singer-songwriter from North London, born in 1997 and grew up in London, which makes me feel really old because I started teaching in 1997. And the 25-year-old May fell in love with music from a young age, listening to her mum's favourite bands, the Dixie Chicks and Simon and Garfunkel. She started writing her own music when she was just 8 and said that she was inspired by artists including Gwen Stefani, Florence and the Machine, and Lily Allen. And Lily Allen made me realise that you can be and sound like yourself and not have to change the way you are, she recently said in an interview with Clash magazine. So, how do you think you would feel if you were chosen to represent the country? How do you think you would feel on that day? Let's go back and look at these emotions words. See if you can pick a couple of emotions. And it might be you can pick contrasting emotions, opposite emotions. Okay, share those in your class. All right, well done. Okay. So the information here has got information about all different types of music, and Eurovision is fantastic because there's so many different types of music. It's always really entertaining. We've got pop music, we've got traditional music that's been passed down from generation to generation, body percussion music and musicals. So back in the 1990s, Ireland won the competition. No, it wasn't Ireland. It was Ireland who performed Riverdance, which is traditional Irish music with percussion that's made by the feet as they tap dance. It's absolutely amazing. And okay, I'm going to stop sharing that one. And I'm going to talk a little bit about something else. So there is something else that's going on. So that Eurovision is going on in the evening. That's Saturday evening. It's going to be on TV. You can watch it on TV. It's going to be fantastic. But it was supposed to be hosted in Ukraine because the winning country hosts the Eurovision Song Contest the next year. Ukraine won last year, but there's a war in Ukraine. And we know about the war in Ukraine. It's been in the news. We've got friends now who've come from Ukraine and joined us in school. But around the world and around the country, there's lots of people who are showing support for people in the Ukraine. So I'm going to share with you a bit of a newspaper article. Here we go. There is a plan in Liverpool and around the country for a huge Eurovision sing-along to show that we support people from Ukraine. So this project hopes that the song With a Little Help from My Friends by the Beatles, a really famous Liverpool band, will unite the world and show that people in Ukraine, the victims of the conflict, that they'll never be alone. So this campaign is to create the world's biggest sing-along, to show people with Ukraine during the Eurovision Song Contest that we support them. And the hashtag Help Ukraine Song Project is aiming to unite the world through music by getting as many people to sing the Beatles song With a Little Help from My Friends at noon, so midday, on Saturday the 13th of May. That's this Saturday. Could be anybody. Choirs, professional musicians, members of the public can film themselves performing the song and put it online on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram. And it's a bit like how we all clapped for the NHS during the pandemic. Now, this is the person who has come up with the idea, Valerie Bounds. Do we recognise that surname anywhere? That's right, because the person who came up with the idea for that is actually Mr. Bounds' wife. Okay, so our Mr. Bounds, I've seen his video of him playing the guitar on Facebook so that other people can join in. And it was Mrs. Bounds who thought of the idea while in London. And she said, I came up with this idea while I was watching someone play the piano in Euston Station at Christmas time and thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to do an incredible moment in public spaces? I'm a big fan of Eurovision. I volunteer with the Red Cross and have worked with Ukrainian refugees, so it all kind of melded together. So there's going to be a flash mob at the Museum of Liverpool next to the Eurovision arena. And that is a spontaneous gathering. Everybody comes together for one purpose for a very short space of time and then goes away again. And other flash mobs are going to take place across the UK, Ukraine, and the world. And money helped by Help Ukraine Song will hashtag Help Ukraine Song will go to War Child, which is a specialist charity for children affected by war. So there we go. That is a really cool thing to do. And it means that everybody is going to come together. They're going to come together for that massive party, but they're also going to come together in the afternoon and sing With a Little Help from My Friends. So what obviously we need to do now is we need to have a listen to what that song is. So there's a second video that goes along with this. It's I've sent the link out to your teacher so they can play it to you, and it's a lyrics video. So you can share that with family and friends at home. You can sing along in class with whatever you like, but it would be great to get people singing along on Saturday. So well done to Mr. and Mrs. Bounds for all the work that's gone on with this. That's absolutely amazing. And have a lovely weekend. And let's think of our friends in Ukraine who are really struggling and haven't been able to host the song contest or because of things that have happened in their lives. And let's show that we are being global citizens by showing that they are our friends and they're welcome here. Bye-bye.